Ambassador Lore clicked his mandibles nervously as he entered the human delegation's chambers aboard the neutral space station. This was a dangerous gambit, but the very survival of the Clique's confederacy depended on it. The lead human representative gestured toward an open seat, his expression unreadable. "Thank you for agreeing to this discreet meeting, Ambassador. My government is intrigued by your request. However, we must voice ethical concerns about interfering in internal affairs of systems which have not requested Earth representation." Lore's antennae sagged. "Of course, I understand your hesitation. But the Cliques are facing annihilation unless the Raython imperialists are stopped immediately." Images of burning colonies and fleeing refugee convoys flooded his mind, broadcast telepathically. The human's face tightened. "Go on." "The Raython have violated every interplanetary conduct code targeting our hatcheries and civilian habitats with ruthless abandon. Half our worlds are occupied with genocidal intent. Billions dead," Lore trailed off, despairing. Leaning forward intently, the human asked, "You mentioned a specific request for Earth to intervene." Lore steeled himself. "We ask your military clandestinely remove the Rathon leadership overseeing these attacks by any means necessary. We know humanity possesses capabilities exceeding galactic norms regarding conflict resolution, and that your people have few qualms about extra-legal solutions, given sufficient moral justification." Silence reigned for several minutes as the humans conferred internally. Finally, the lead negotiator turned back. "You ask us to conduct political assassinations and sabotage, Ambassador." Lore's limbs trembled. "Yes, we are dying by the millions. No options remain but to sever the snake's head so we may survive." More silence. Then slowly, the human extended his hand. "Consider it done, Ambassador. Operation Viper Fang will commence immediately. May freedom come swiftly to your people." Joy flooded Lore's mind. The Clique's confederacy would endure after all. Dartha hissed in displeasure as another encrypted packet arrived. Rebellion was simmering among the occupied Clique systems, despite increased naval patrols and surveillance drones. More suppression troop legions would need to be clone-bred on the inner planets to crush these irksome uprisings. At the rate genotypic variance was advancing in each generational cohort, perhaps additional labor hatcheries on recently glassed worlds. A thunderous explosion rocked the Citadel chamber. Dartha screeched furiously as smoke billowed under the arched doorway. How had any gotten aboard, let alone breach this deep inside? Impossible. Shrieking for guards, Dartha scrabbled backward as armored figures hurtled through the smoke, projectile weapons spitting primitive yet lethal payloads. Pain shrieked through Dartha's carapace as microflechettes penetrated exoskeletal plates. Collapsing in shock, Dartha experienced the last seconds of Imperial rule while watching brown-eyed aliens with bared teeth retributionally hack apart the Empire's architects with efficient fury. Captain John Murphy lowered his Scar-X rifle, ignoring the violet blood splattered across his battlesuit. Around the opulent chamber, the dozen Joint Special Operations Command operatives were likewise safing weapons. Breaches in guard forces had been handled with these alien scum none the wiser until too late. Murphy glanced at the mangled dictatorial carcass, leaking vital fluids, and nodded once. Apache leader to Overwatch. Pax is smoked. Initiate deep scans for data repositories and command nodes. The acknowledgement double-click was lost amidst shaped microcharges detonating hallway bulkheads. In under 20 minutes, a 300-year empire spanning 80 inhabited systems had been beheaded by some motivated human door kickers, and the fog. The Clique's delegation stood stunned as video footage played across the chamber holotank. Raython strongholds and military bases burning ferociously after sabotage by alien operatives. Entire legions vaporized by ambushes or driven into disarray by command structure decapitation. And everywhere, images of liberation forces rising up and seizing weapons from crushed garrisons. Could it be, after endless suffering, freedom at last? Ambassador Lore's limbs shook with overwhelmed emotion as he turned to the impassive yet satisfied human chief negotiator. "How? By the broodmother, how did your forces accomplish this impossible victory?" A fierce grin split the alien's oddly hairless face. "On Earth, we call them shadow troops, the best of the best who walk unseen into hell itself to smite demons threatening the innocent." He stood, eyes gleaming with camaraderie and pride. You needed the Wraithon menace eliminated without rules or warning. Ambassador. Mankind specializes in writing names on bullets when innocents cry out for deliverance. Lore shivered despite himself. Had inviting these apex predators into galactic affairs been wise? Yet the entertainment console still showed fleeing refugees embracing battle-armored soldiers while Rathan installations burned. Overcome, he embraced the human with both upper limbs. You have preserved my civilization, aliens. Should you ever require the Clix race's assistance, we shall come without hesitation at your summons. The human nodded. I will inform High Command back on Earth. For now, focus on healing your worlds and people. Hard times may come again. He gripped Lore's mid-limbs warmly with his odd five-fingered extremities. But stand tall. You've earned your chance to thrive once more among the stars. For joy and gratitude swelling within, Lore joined his delegation as they departed for their newly freed homeworlds. Behind them remained potential allies of both utterly dependable camaraderie and utterly ruthless retribution against any who would threaten galactic peace or innocence again. Perhaps virtue and savagery were not so incompatible in preserving vulnerable races after all.